When I first started my journey as an entrepreneur, that was almost 5 years ago now. I remember I was working. I'm in Kansas City right now. I was working over here at a sort of prestigious marketing firm, and I worked on the biggest clients like Ford Motors, Sprint, formerly known as Sprint company, and U.S. Soccer, and like big brands, billion-dollar companies. And I kept getting promoted. I was married, my son was 2 years old, and on paper I was successful, and it seemed like I had it all. And I didn't. People would ask me, how are you doing? I was like, great, I'm fine, right? I was fucked up, neurotic, insecure, egocentric, right? Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, egocentric. And I went through a divorce, went through a breakdown, a burnout, and it was the hardest time of my life, for sure. And I had a near-death experience before. This time it was different because the suicidal thoughts came from inside. I remember I was driving down a bridge, going back from work, coming home. I was so stressed out about my sort of work life that it was so painful to be at work. I had the Sunday scaries and all of that. I was so painful to be there. I just wanted to leave. And then I was driving home, and it was so painful thinking about the toxic environment that I created at home that I didn't want to go there either. And so I'm in my car, and I remember it's the Heart of America Bridge. I drive up and down every day, and I was looking at a red semi truck on the left, and that was oncoming. And the Missouri River on the right, in the Blue River, right? And I remember thinking if I'm going to swerve into the truck or drive into the river. And it was in that moment I think subconsciously I sent out a prayer, a signal for help, that I wanted something to change, something had to change. And I was no longer willing to allow this level of thinking in my head, because I knew what was on the other side of that. So fast forward, I called in my first ever life coach, and I learned about the language of the subconscious mind and how to connect to higher consciousness, and started manifesting work and getting into coaching and doing something really fulfilling when I realized I could do it full time. Now, I told my wife at the time I was going to build my business, to get the time freedom, to be present for them and to be present for my son. And when I started my business, even though I was doing the coaching, I was doing the personal development work, I still didn't have more time. Like she said to me, yo, you said you were going to have more time. You're going to be here for us, but all you do is work more. You're always busy, right? And I didn't hear it. I wasn't really able to hear it. Please don't give me that. That was my queen calling. Now, it wasn't until I was actually an entrepreneur, my business was flourishing. I started having my breakthroughs and my breakdowns. I was sharing it with others, and launched a successful mastermind, the Manifest X Mastermind, which has been so powerful. And we do these live events and all that good stuff. But it didn't really hit me until I was already my own boss, that nothing fundamentally, nothing had changed. My son, one day I remember he came to me and said, Daddy, come play with me. And I'm like on my phone working. I don't know if I was like texting a client or crafting a post or whatever, but he said, Daddy, come play with me. Daddy, come play with me. Now Elliot is like 6 years old. And I said, no, now Elliot, I'm working, right? Later, I'll come play with you later. And then I was like, some time goes by, I keep doing my thing, and he comes back to me and says, Daddy, come play with me. Come play with me. You said you would play with me, right? And I said, not now, Elliot, Daddy's working. And so, I don't know for minutes or hours later, but that's him playing on his iPad right now. I don't know if it was minutes or hours later that I looked up and I looked around, and Elliot didn't even ask anymore. He just went out there and did his thing on his own. He didn't even ask anymore for me to play with him. And that was a powerful realization for me. That's when I realized that, you've been told, oh, time is money, and you gotta, work harder, and like you get everything that you want. That's what we've been told by our bosses, to be good workhorses in order to make them more successful. The truth is, time is not money. It is not. Your time, your lifetime, is the number one most valuable resource you have. It's infinitely more valuable than money. And once I realized that, I learned how to be fucking present. And this is what I gotta share with you. It's like, there's one thing to, spend time with someone, even in a conversation, and you're just like waiting for them to finish so you can say what you want to say. And it's another thing entirely to be so absolutely fucking present with that one person. Be present with yourself, how you're feeling, noticing their sensory acuity and speaking every word with intention, really seeking to understand that person in that moment. You can take 1 minute and make it last an eternity. It is not that we need to spend more time with all of our loved ones. It is the quality of the time that we spend. And that's why you want to create what I call the fuck yes life, the lifestyle, including the business, including the family dynamics, including the love life that you don't need a vacation from. Because there's 3 levels of freedom ultimately. The first level is the freedom from, right? It's the freedom from having a boss or a job that you hate, or from having to work crazy hours. The freedom from, away from motivation, right? Then you have the freedom to, like the freedom to travel the world and serve dream clients and spend quality time with your children and take them to Disney World, or have crazy adventures with your loved ones, right? The freedom to do that. The freedom to the fuck ass life, right? And then the third level of freedom, it's just freedom. Period. This profound inner freedom that you're willing to be 100% present with yourself. Once you're able to do that, throughout the tribulations, right? Through the ups and downs, the peaks and the pits of your life. So being so fucking present in the moment, you can make another person feel absolutely loved, seen, and heard. You be 100% there for them. So if you want that, and I want that for you, I highly recommend you come to one of our Mastermind Retreats. What we do is we learn how to really truly have 3 levels of freedom. All 3. Freedom from doing the things that you no longer want to do. The freedom to, share yourself with your dream clients and your loved ones. And absolute inner freedom. And so I'm sharing this with you because even to this day, I'm looking at having to get work done and really so I'm being so ambitious. It's still my growth edge, right? It's like we can create incredible results going from 6-figure years to 6-figure months and then 6-figure weeks. And soon, 6-figure weekends, 6-figure paydays, and 6 figures per hour, right? That's the trajectory. Now, inside of that, what's actually important in life? What I found underneath that is who's important in life. Because in the end of the day, looking back, that's our legacy, how we show up for our loved ones. There's a lot of spiritual development work happening, and the most powerful spiritual development that you'll do is being in full accountability and integrity with your loved ones, with your relationships. There's 3 levels, there's whether it's love or business. There's my son screaming in the background, freaking love that guy. There's 3 levels. It's the freedom from. Now we covered that already. That's the freedom formula. There's 3 types of relationships that you need in your life. One is the lottery type relationship. You go in to see if you can get something, right? Hopefully you get paid. Hopefully you get laid, right? We've all done that. It's a phase in life, but it works to an extent some of the time, but you don't want to stay there. You don't want to rely on that. The next level up, the second level of relationships, is the bank account type relationship. It's very measured, right? You're going to put in some gold coins and you're going to get some gold coins back, and it's very measured. You're not going to withdraw much more than you're going to put in because it's not sustainable. And then the third type of relationship is the investment account type relationship. It's like an investment bank. You show up and you deposit your gold deposits, right? You deposit your gold deposits and you just trust that over time, it's going to be ups and downs, it's going to be pits and dips. Dips and peaks, pits and peaks. dips and tips, dibs and tips as well. And that's going to be there. And over time, it's going to go up and to the right? Over time, it's going to be increasing. Over time, it's going to get better and better. And so when we show up with that level of patience and grace, those are the relationships that are going to have a return that's 100x, because you see their growth. You'll be invested in the growth of that human being. And you're generous and patient about it. And the way the universe works, it always comes back 100x. It may not be in the way that you imagine, but it just always does. It's the law of reciprocity. It's like we're investing into an infinite pool that's in the universe, and it will always give back in surprising ways. So hopefully this helps someone. I know it's been a life changer for myself to have a level of patience and grace with myself. And now as I see evolution of so many conscious entrepreneurs, I've noticed they're able to have really quality time with their loved ones as well. You know, my buddy Tommy, he's a friend of mine, a former client, current client actually, he's going to our Thailand Mastermind coming up as well. Every weekend I do catch-up calls with him. Every Monday we do our calls, and I always ask, like, what are you celebrating right now? You know, it's so important to focus on the positive, what's actually working for us. And very consistently he always shares, I just went surfing, you know, sometimes jet skiing with his girlfriend and see dolphins and things like that. And he's just absolutely living his dream. And and only after we really cover the life wins do we talk about, cool, well, how's sales going, you know? Remember who's really important in life. You got this.